Hey guys, welcome to Stateside Street, a podcast where two Americans discuss all things Coronation Street. My name is Shanika. Amelia's off this week, so I'm here to recap the episodes from February 23rd through February 27th. So this week we had Bernie getting arrested. George is desperately trying to salvage his reputation, and Jodie is basically attempting to single white female her way into her sister's entire marriage and family. It's crazy. It's been a crazy week. I want to know, did you all enjoy Corey this week? I did, personally. I would rate it a strong 3.5 out of 5. Yeah. So my highlights were pretty much Jodie. Like, she is unhinged, but she's like really compelling. Really compelling. Mal is also someone who stood out to me this week, obviously. Mal and Bernie. Mal is absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And Bernie, of course, like, she's a force. She's an absolute force. Jane is doing so well portraying Bernie. So yeah, let me know what you all think. I took a look at the Twitter page, our Twitter page, and one follower said it was a mixed bag. Jodie was my favorite character of the week. She's a complex lady, and I have to agree. Jodie is very intriguing. Another follower mentioned the fact that there were a lot of villains on the street, and yes, I agree with that as well. I feel like Oprah is handing out villains. Like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a villain, you get a villain, you get a villain. But thankfully, we have a whodunit coming up, so they'll cut it back some, But yeah, what do you think? If you want to voice your opinion, definitely head on over to our Twitter and our Instagram page. Shoot us a comment or DM. We're always open for discussion. Honestly, we're always open to discussion. Corey, we love Corey. Just keep it respectful, keep it 100. All right, so let's get to it. Let's start this week with Bernie. Like, that's the big driving storyline this week, in my opinion, is Bernie, Mal, the whole thing with Kit. So for Monday, we open on Bernie and Dev. So Bernie's doing housework when a without number rings, and I think she thinks it's Mel, but it's not. It's some insurance company. Dev answers, and he does his best, like, Mrs. Downfire impression. Loved it. Kudos. No notes. So basically, he and Asha are heading off to a sort of father-daughter trip, a much-needed father and daughter trip. And you know what, Asha, she's due back for work soon, and it's going to be rough. It's going to be very rough to get back into the groove of things, but I think she's strong enough to get there. She's been through a lot, and I've said it before in the podcast, but I really wish they took the time to sit with her recent storyline, with her depression, to really dig deep into that, and it wasn't like overshadowed by some bigger storylines, But even so, I am excited to see where Asha goes. Honestly, she deserves so much peace, because this girl has been through so much. But moving on, later at the cafe at Roy's, it's pretty much dead. So Jodie takes it upon herself to leave a bit early, conveniently. Roy pops out to get cash from Mal, and this leaves Mal and Bernie alone. Let me just tell you something, guys. Tim Treloar is absolutely smashing it as Mal. Absolutely smashing. He is terrifying. And I've checked out his other works. Man, this man can act. This man can act his butt off. Like, he is so good. I really enjoy what he is doing with Mal, to be honest. He is terrifying. And he's working so well opposite Jane. Like, the tension between them, it's utterly compelling. Like, it is so compelling. Like, especially in this scene when they're at Roy's and they're just alone, and you can just, it's just so good. It's just so, so good. So let me actually move on, because I don't want to gush too much about the acting, but it's so well done, honestly. Like, they're both bringing it. Tim and Jane, they are bringing it. But okay, anyways, So Mel locks the door and he wants to plead his case. And it's so crazy. Like, it's crazy because in his mind, he really thinks that Bernie wants him. Like, I just don't understand. What, in what ways does locking Bernie up so she can't get out in any way, in shape or form, romantic? Like, it's not. Like, he's completely obsessed. There's a line that he says, and it made my skin crawl. Like, so he locks the door. Bernie is obviously freaking out, like visibly shaking. And he goes, "Is my Bernie panicking? My Bernie?" Oh my God, it made my skin crawl. It's not charming at all. Like, it's not, like, I don't know what's going through his head. Like, it's absolutely terrifying. Like, no matter what she does, he won't take no for an answer. And how many women, how many women have met someone like that? I'll raise my hand. I'll raise both my hands. I have, and you probably met men like that as well. It's like, it's the entitlement, right? It's the obsession. I mean, it's straight up disrespectful. Like, they don't view you, obviously, as someone with autonomy, right? And I think, while I do think that Corey has like an overload of villains, I think they are writing Mel and the whole situation so well. I do. But yeah. So later on at the pub, we have Kit and Gemma and Bernie, and they're talking about Real Housewives. Shout out to Real Housewives. I remember watching that when I was younger. I watched Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Real Housewives of Orange County. But anyways, so Gemma is like basically ranting about it. And it's really, first of all, it's really nice to see Kit and Gemma together. You know, I love that. Like, that sibling relationship, that sibling dynamic. I love that. And I want to see more of that. I would love to see more of that. It's really nice to see them together as a family. So Gemma is ranting about Lisa Vanderpump. And Bernie is obviously, you can see on her face, like she's trying to put on a brave face, but you can see it. She's worried, obviously. And I think Kit is definitely picking up on it. So after the night at the pub, Kit walks Bernie home. Bernie goes into the house and she bolts the door. Like, she locks the door, like top lock, middle lock, bottom lock. Like, no one's getting in, right? She's scared. She's absolutely terrified. And then she finds her wedding photo defaced. Somebody has cut out her head in the picture, and I can imagine how she feels. So she's all alone in this house. And she knows that Mal is basically coming for her. So she bolts and she goes to Gemma's and stays with them. The next day, she confronts Mel about it. You know, he denies breaking in. He denies everything. And then he says, who made you into the cold-hearted bitch that you are? And she fires back, people like you. Men like him. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. So later on in the week, there's banging at the door. And mind you, she's living alone right now because Deb and Asha is gone for a couple of days. So there's banging at the door. She grabs a golf club thinking it's Mel, but it's Kit. He obviously senses that something is wrong, and eventually Bernie tells him everything about the drugs, about the kiss, about the bender, like everything. And Kit tries to convince her to let him take care of it, of course, right? But she refuses. And later on, Mel storms into Roy and make a huge scene, publicly humiliates her, claiming that they stayed at a hotel and he talked about like her drug use and all that. It's really vile. Like, that's the next step, right? Once they threaten you and do all this craziness, just because you said no, they humiliate you. And it's awful. It is awful, absolutely awful. But I will say, Tim is playing his part. Like, he is playing his part. I love it. So, obviously, with this public humiliation and, you know, the fact that it's Weatherfield and secrets travels fast. Bernie wants to get on top of things, so she tells Dev the truth. And obviously he is devastated. And he's not wrong when he says that she only tells the truth when it suits her, when it's convenient for her. That is true. Like, it's not... My whole thing is, I don't think Dev is necessarily that upset about the act itself, right? I mean, he is a bit judgmental, but I think it's the secrecy as well. You know, it's just the fact that she kept him in the dark this long, you know. Later Mel finds Bernie outside on the street and just taunts her, try to humiliate her, just bring her down. He mentions Paul, and listen, that was the wrong move. That was the wrong move. Bernie absolutely snaps, man. She snaps. And she says that she's going to kill him. She said it twice in the street, loud, like she did not care, because he keeps playing. Like, he keeps talking out the side of his neck, right? So my whole thing is, the way she said it was so much conviction. So much conviction. She meant that. Like, it was not a threat. It wasn't even a promise, bro. Like, it was a guarantee. Like, if you mess with me anymore, if you mention my name or any of my family's name out your mouth, that's it. She's out for blood. But the next day, man, Dev and Bernie are just, it's so much tension between them. And they're trying to put on a brave face because, you know, again, it's Ash's first day. But Dev is really hurt, and Bernie's drowning. She's drowning her guilt. And she tries to pack her bags and run. And Dev calls out. And again, he's not my favorite character, like at all. But he's right in this situation. He's absolutely right. I found myself agreeing with Dev a lot this week. Bernie says that she hurts people. That's who she is. But I don't think she realized that's who she was. She's not that person anymore. Like, she's growing. She's grown so much, right? And now it's just like she's just using it as an excuse to run away, just like she did before with the whole kid situation, right? When things get tough, she runs away. But I think it's so important right now to stay, to own up to your choices. Meanwhile, though, at the precinct, Lisa is back, and she assigns a case to Kit, and it's a man in an ICU after a severe assault. And Kit looks a bit concerned, and we later find out why. But first, we have Bernie and Dev at Roy's. They talk. They really sit down and talk about this, and they decide to work it out. Like, Bernie's not going to run, and Dev is going to try to forgive her and work through it. Something tells me that he's going to hold it over her head, though. And, you know, they decide to work it out. So more power to them. A united front. And a united front is something they would need, because right after reconciliation, 2 detectives walk in and they arrest Bernie for assault. And later on, Kit and Sarah talk about Bernie's arrest. And he actually admits that he pushed Mel. I mean, he only roughed him up, right? It's not like he beat him down to the ICU, right? It's just a little push here, a little push there. You know, make sure that Mel's know that, you know, don't mess with my family. So Bernie is questioned by the detectives, but they don't seem to have any evidence that sticks. Weatherfield coppers, man, did they ever have any evidence that sticks? So it was a line in here about, like, I think Kit said it, like, oh, we don't want to arrest the wrong person or something, or like, we don't arrest anybody until they have evidence. And I'm just like, well, Lisa did. Lisa Swain did. All they do is arrest people without evidence in Weatherfield. Like, let's just be real here. But anyways, Bernie is released. But that also actually means that the investigation is still ongoing, and they still need a suspect. So Kit isn't really off the hook yet. And we had another scene, an ending scene, that Lisa is back in business and she's ready to catch the bad guys. I'm actually wondering if Lisa will find out the truth. How will she find out the truth? Will Kit confide in Lisa? And remember, she hid the fact that Kit roughed up Mick. So I do wonder. I do like their friendship. I've enjoyed Kit since he started, to be honest. Like, and I love the dynamic between Lisa and Kit, especially now. So I do wonder. If Lisa finds out, I don't think she's going to turn him in at all. But we'll see. I don't know. You never know. You never know. But let's move on to Jodie, who's hiding a few secrets of her own. Shauna tries to give Jodie some home truths about Carl. And honestly, Shauna should know about the bad eggs because she had a really tumultuous relationship with Kit. So she should definitely know about men like Carl. So Jodie texts Carl and pretty much blows him off. And at work, Carl comes in and he won't let Jodie serve him because he's a bit in his feelings, even though he denies it. He's a bit in his feelings. Let's just all be real here. Mal pops in, getting far too comfortable with Bernie, honestly. He has this bright red toolbox, like you cannot miss it. And Jodie like accidentally stubbed her toe on the toolbox. And I'm just like, bro, how can you not see it? It's bright and red. Bernie tells Jodie that she shouldn't mess with people's feelings. You should mean what you say and say what you mean. And obviously she's thinking about Mal. Later on, Jodie is walking about and she doesn't know that she is being followed. And this time, it's not by a dead relative, Becky Swain. It's Olivia. It's a girl that she used to babysit. So Olivia finds her. She questions Jodie about... Jodie tries to kind of like lie her way out of it. She tells Olivia that she is in witness protection. And I just find it really interesting that Jodie keeps inserting herself into families with husbands and wives and children. Really interesting. So she later bumps into Betsy. And I've said it before, but I love the way Corey is laying down the groundwork for the whodunit. No doubt in my mind that we will see Betsy interact with more people, given Betsy's involvement with Lauren. I don't know, maybe she goes to Maggie to talk to her, and that's how they kind of connect, you know? Who knows? Look at the Platts. Jodie is making dinner, and she suggests gravy fries to David, and David's just like, no, like it's going to get soggy. And so this is a debate. First of all, I didn't know it was a hot debate, because I am for the gravy fries. Like I used to eat them growing up in Baltimore. It was just a staple, right? So I'm actually curious, are you yay or nay on the gravy fries? Or the gravy and chips, as you guys say. But anyways, David goes upstairs and Jodie pulls out her little secret stash, right? And we can see a treasure chest of trinkets ranging from jewelry to like a little small disco ball thing. We see Brian's book and the picture of Bernie that Jodie cut out. I don't know what she collected from her previous living situation. And I also want to know, Coronation Street, please tell us, why was she in a van tied up with Graham? Like, please, I need to know. I need to know. But that's coming. That's definitely coming. But anyways, midweek, we had a spa day at Audrey's. Shauna has no idea. She thinks Jodie is just like helping her. Oh, she's so kind. She's so sweet. She's so nice. Yeah, okay. She's single white female to you. There's all love at Audrey's until Shauna's wedding ring goes missing. So later on, Jodie is baking and she's singing Gold. And honestly, I have not heard that song in so long. Oh my gosh. It's such a bop though. Like it's such a bop. After this, I might just listen to We'll Fight for Ourselves. That was a good song, actually. Good song choice, Corey. I love Gold. Loved it. But anyways, let's move on to Thursday's episode. So Thursday, Jodie finds Shauna's ring down in the sofa cushions. And she gets a little bit too close to David. A little bit too close. I really thought she was going to go in for a kiss. I really thought so. It's just too oblivious. But Jodie, oh my gosh, she wants what she wants, you know, and she sees what she wants to see. And I've said it before, but I don't think she necessarily wants David. Like, I don't think she wants like David himself. I think that she wants what she can't have, and she wants control, and she wants stability, and she wants that family that she never had before. So, but later on, Jodie rocks up at the Rovers wearing Shona's ring, and she's like trying to play it off like me. Bethany is all us. Like, she is us. She's the audience, man. Like, she's sitting there just throwing daggers at Jodie, and I love to see it. I love to see it. She has her sights set on Jodie. But will Jodie find out and sort of turn the tables? That's my question. Kind of worried for Bethany. You know, I do wonder, though, with Bethany on the case, maybe this is how Daniel and Bethany get back together in the future, if they get back together. Like, something happens to Bethany. Maybe she gets hurt, because of Jodie. And Megan's going to be out the picture. So maybe that's how they sort of get back together. Who knows? But anyways, the next day, we got Jodie in the kitchen. She's dumping milk down the drain, which is crazy. Like, do you know how much milk costs? Do you know how much that costs in this day and age? Crazy. She empties the dishwasher, and she's trying to just slither her way into David and Shona's marriage yet again, because Shona comes down and basically fusses about the fact that David forgot to do the dishes and he forgot to get some milk and all that stuff like that. So she's creating little fractures here, right? In the week, Shona and David pretty much planned a romantic evening, and Jodie was supposed to take Lily out to the movies, to the cinema. But then she comes home early and makes some excuse, and again, like she's just busting up and putting a dent into the marriage yet again. I didn't mention this earlier, but there's a scene with Jodie and Lily that took me all the way out. I felt called out. It was when they were walking David the dog, and so he did his business, but they didn't have any like bags with them. And Jodie was like, "Oh, like go like fish in your bag and get like a piece of paper from one of your notebooks to pick it up," And Lily's like, "What do you mean paper? Like, how old are you? Like, are you ancient? Like, we use tablets." Way to call me out, Corey, because I'm still using pen and pencil and writing in cursive and everything. So thanks, Corey, for that. For making me feel old. But with this whole Jodie situation, I do wonder how far Jodie will go. I mean, she has to slip up. Right? We'll see. So we'll see how everything goes down. We're going to move on to Steve. We had a good amount of Steve this week. We really did. So Steve and Ben continue to bond. I don't think it's a secret. Like, they're half brothers. They gotta be. I think that's what they're setting up, right? So this could be really interesting. Really interesting. I do love the friendship. I love that they have a friendship already. So I do wonder how it's going to affect, once they find out, how is it going to affect their friendship? I don't know. But Steve frets over his dad's debts. Cassie tries to help, and then Tracy and Cassie banter during breakfast. And Amy was like, "Oh, it's not even 9 a.m." and like just going at it. And I love it. I really love that dynamic, and I kind of wish they played with that more during Claire's time on Corey, because her time is coming to an end. I don't know when, but I know she's leaving. And that sucks because I really like her with Steve. Maybe it's temporary. I don't know. I haven't read a whole bunch of information about that, but I do know she's leaving, and that's in the general public. Like, everyone knows that. But hopefully it's just temporary so she can come back, because I really like her and Steve, and I love the dynamic between Tracy and Cassie as well. So we'll see. But anyways, while they're bickering, Tracy and Cassie, Amy pulls Steve to the side. And she tells him, "You don't owe Grandpa anything, but you do owe it to yourself to not have any regrets." And I thought that was a really lovely line. And Amy is the voice of reason, and I love that. Give Amy more storylines, please. So later on, Ben takes Steve to see his father, but he ends up not going into the hospital. He just couldn't bring himself to do it. Wednesday, Steve steps into poo And I'm just thinking, maybe he's the one that does Jodie in. He's like sick and tired of stepping in it, right? The residents of Weatherfield gather to take Jodie out because she's not picking up behind David the dog. Thursday, Amy goes to collect Steve, who's basically crashed out at the Rovers. There's a bit of flirting going on between Ollie and Amy, but honestly, I don't think anything will come out of it, to be honest. I think Ollie is just upset that Lauren stood him up. Eventually, Ollie and Lauren will get together officially. And I do like them as a couple. So back at Steve, we're at the Barlows, and he tells Cassie that he has made a decision about his father. And that was after speaking with Andy. Love that we got an Andy mention. Love it. Then Mary goes in. She's going to the Brit Awards, and she might see Ben Shephard. I love this running gag. I really love this running gag. It's so cool. You know, Mary might fit like a bit too neatly in the archetype, but I think she's a breath of fresh air, to be honest. Like, I really like her, enjoy her character. You know, when she's on screen, it's just going to be funny. So I don't mind it. I don't mind that she's like fit a certain archetype, right? Meanwhile, Cassie is in deep thought. She decides that she's going to propose to Steve. We're going to move on to Brian. A little bit of Brian today. Brian is basically still looking for his missing book. He suspects Hope, and like, honestly, that's fair. Like, that's fair. But this time, Hope didn't do it. She did not do it. While he was at the shop, right, Jodie suggests that it could be like part of a bigger, darker crime. She loves playing and manipulating in the background. That Jodie. So we had this lovely scene with Ken, Rita, Murray, and Brian at the Rovers later on. And it was such a treat, honestly. I've said it before, and I will say it again. It's an absolute blessing to be able to see these legends. You know, I'm so happy that we still have them, right? And they're able to work. Because as we know, sometimes as you get older, the work does not come easily, right? So we have the privilege to watch these absolute legends. And so, like, there's just one line that Ken says, and I've never related to Ken Barlow as much as I did in this moment. He says, maybe if they invested more in libraries, people wouldn't result in stealing novels. 100% Ken Barlow. As a former library worker, I agree. Let's invest in these public libraries. Thank you very much. So not much about Brian, really. The only main thing is that we found out about Brian is the fact that Jodie has his book. So let's move on to George. This storyline is like sort of in the background. It's like, oh, okay, you know, a nice little side story. But then it really ended up being bigger than I thought it would be. You know, it's really interesting. So let's start in the beginning. So at the Undertaker shop, George is helping someone with funeral arrangements. And Christine is doing her best Judy Garland impression, singing so well. And she absentmindedly chokes out loud about George basically like swindling over old clients. Later on, George is at Roy's worried for his reputation, of course. Adam and Christina comes in. Christina tries to get George's spirits up, but Adam tells him that the woman who is making those like nasty rumors, he's actually representing her. So he advises him to get his own lawyer. So later on, Christine takes it upon herself to try to explain to the client that, you know, what she said was a joke. George is a kind, sweet soul. He loves his job. He takes his job seriously. And I think she's coming around a bit, but then Christina kind of mucks it all up by pretending to talk on the phone with George. And then George come rocking up in the bistro, and the jig is up. And things go from bad to worse. Later this week, one of George's clients come to the Undertaker's, and she and George have a nice talk. It was a very lovely talk. And she agrees to continue working with him. And George gives this lovely speech about why he loves what he does, you know, the importance of having grace and sending off loved ones in peace. And you can really tell that he cares about his job, right? Like he takes it extremely seriously. And it was a moment when the camera like tightens in while he's doing his speech, and I was like, oh man, she passed away, didn't she? Like once that camera tightens in on him, like, oh man, they doing this. He's gonna turn around and she's gonna no longer be here. And that's exactly what happened. He turns around and Jones passed on. And it was a lovely scene, but it was a sad scene as well. That's what I'm saying. Like it kind of crept up on me because I didn't think it would be, you know, this expansive of a storyline. But the next day, hits just keep on coming for George, right? The next day, Jones' son comes to the Undertaker's and he wants to talk about his late mother. But the lady that originally tried to slander his name comes rocking up and throws accusations out again. Poor George, like he can't catch a break. You could tell like he loves what he does. And this is just getting to him, you know? It's really a shame. It's really a shame. But we're going to move on to Lauren and Ollie. Lauren's having relationship issues. She's having some issues. So Ollie asks Lauren out to bistro. Yay. But Maggie disapproves because of course she does. Of course she does. And she is putting doubts in Lauren's mind. You know, Lauren is starting to doubt herself again. But later on, Lauren goes to number 6 and she hangs out with Betsy. And again, she's feeling a bit insecure, you know. And of course, this is spurred on because of Maggie, yes, but also because of her past with Joel. You know, this is her first, well, not her first real relationship because she was with a relationship with Max right after Joel. But that's a bit different. I don't know. I kind of view it as a bit different. Sort of like a codependency thing. And I feel like this is her real first relationship, you know, after Joel, after the whole Joel situation. So, of course, she's going to be a bit insecure. She's going to feel a lot of things, you know, but I'm hoping that Ollie can sense that and see that and be there for her. Because I like Ollie and Lauren. I think they would make a really nice couple. Really nice couple. So that's it for Lauren and Ollie. It wasn't really much with Lauren and Ollie. I think more of that will come soon. Actually, I think that's it for the whole entire episode. That was a quick episode, to be honest. But it was a good episode. Again, I rated about 3.5 out of 5. It was good. But yeah, so let's talk about spoilers, I guess. There's a huge spoiler. They released photos and stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you don't want spoilers, you can just check out right now. But we have spoilers, and spoilers reveal that Swarla will be getting a special delivery. Rob and Mandy's baby literally lands on Lisa and Carla's doorstep. And I really wonder how this is going to play out. I haven't read all of the spoilers, so I try to keep myself spoiler free. But I've seen, you know, photos because they released the photos, officially released the photos. But yeah, I do wonder. I think Carla will be the most reluctant. I'm hoping that this sort of leads to Carla finally telling Lisa about baby Barlow. You know, it's a very interesting development. I hope it will be temporary, but who knows? I do wonder what Rob thinks. Maybe we'll find out because our next interview is with Mark Bayless, who played Rob Donovan on Coronation Street. So be on the lookout for that one coming in late March. Speaking of interviews, if you are into the Australian soap Neighbours, catch me on Pop Goes the Tam Tam soon. I'll be discussing Sonia and Tody as a couple and also Sonia's tragic death. So we have a lot of great content coming up and I think you all will enjoy it. So definitely make sure to follow us on our socials, Stateside Street Podcast, and feel free to drop us a line. We are always open. Our DMs are open. So if you have something to say about Corey, let us know. Let us know. Thank you all so much for listening. So this has been Stateside Street, and you all have been absolutely fabulous. Enjoy your day and be safe.